If you're around in 2005 and you love Wallace and Gromit like I did, you probably know about the tragedy that struck the company. No, not a death, but a terrible blaze that it ripped through the Victorian warehouse and everything went up in flames, including all the models from A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, and more. Renowned animator Nick Park said of the matter, even though it is a precious and nostalgic collection and valuable to the company, in the light of other tragedies, referring to the 2005 Kashmir earthquake, today isn't a big deal. But it was a very big deal indeed to whoever died there. If I understand correctly, the body has been torn into a bunch of separate pieces, which none of them really resembling human body parts, and the remains was so truly charred that even the best analysis couldn't reliably confirm it was human. Everyone who should have been in the warehouse, animators, cleaning staff, etc., was still alive, meaning that the person who died there probably wasn't supposed to be there. In the early days of the case, some people assumed it was the corpse had started the fire, but once it traced back through to an electrical vault, people forgot that because nobody wanted to believe it was actually a human corpse. As weeks and months went by without any reasonably connected missing persons reports, people forgot about that whole aspect of the fire, and some people you might ask argued the ghost never affected anything else. But I think the person's ghost continued to haunt the studio for at least a half a decade afterwards. The ghost really loves setting fires. Every few months, some other things would overheat or burst into flames. The bulb light, the trash in the bin, it even tried overheating the computers, but couldn't heat them while they restarted. That said, Aardman Animations was too vigilant for there to be any fires after the first. The ghosts also hated the stop-motion animation process. Suddenly, claymation characters were showing up mangled, squished, and ripped into pieces. Sets were getting destroyed left and right in ways that couldn't be natural. But who could have been done was up in the air, and I think the ghost is a part of the reason Arthur Christmas was CGI as opposed to stop motion. Because I heard the problem was especially bad with that one, security cameras weren't any help either, because the models that were on the camera never got destroyed. It's one more piece of evidence that something fundamentally unnatural was happening. Other than those two things, it never got too bold. It may have been stolen pencils, but they might also have been misplaced. Papers ended up on the ground because of the stray gusts of wind. People got sun chills, and I felt like they were being watched sometimes. It never really reached the point where anyone made public statement, because what they were supposed to say? Someone died in the warehouse fire, and their ghost is haunting our animation company. Okay, maybe I can't say for certain that the ghost was the reason why the claymation characters started showing ripped up into pieces. Maybe all the spontaneous electrical vaults which occurred in the years after that were really spontaneous. I don't have any proof that they hired an exorcist except for the word of mouth, and took them nearly a half decade to do it. I guess they must have tried other solutions before resorting to the loopy sounding one that ended up working. I believe nothing out of the ordinary happened during the exorcism, but the weird stuff stopped happening. No more fires, no more ripped off models. I'm pretty sure nothing like that has ever happened again, and I hope it never does. You may have already figured this out, but I definitely think Aardman did nothing wrong here. The corpse obviously wasn't supposed to be there, and all it did was make life hard for the people and the animation company. Whole debacle just makes me root for Aardman even more. Still, call me heretic, but I don't have full faith that the exorcism worked, and I'm kind of scared that the ghost is still biding its time. I guess I don't have concrete proof, but I still think it has unfinished business in the moral plane, considering the amount we don't know about its origins. That's why I still obsessively look up the news about Aardman in the case that there was another fire, and why I can't stop searching who could have possibly died in that warehouse. All in all, I hope Aardman never has another fire like the fire of 2005.